How's it going, everyone? This is Griffin. So I've been working on this for the last couple of weeks. Really excited to show you all. This is an example of just when you have an idea that you want to really use AI to create something, what is kind of a peek under the hood of how you can do it. And for me, something that's been on my mind for the last couple of months of like, oh my God, this is easily where you could plug in an AI bot for something is investing. So like just to give you context about me, my investment strategy is put all my stuff in an index fund and then don't look at it again. Like I'm not someone who is paying attention every day to individual stocks. I just don't have the patience for it. I honestly don't think it's something I want to do in the future, which is all the more reason why if I could make something with AI that kind of does it for me, that would be great. So how do you go about doing that? Right now, what I'm showing you is a GitHub repository for a multi-agent LLM trading framework called Trading Agent. So basically, like if you don't know GitHub, if you're a coder and you make something, you can publish it to GitHub. You can make it public or private if you want to. In this instance, it's public. And then anybody else can download all of that code as a zip file and then play around with it. So anytime I want to make something, I am always searching like yada yada GitHub to see if someone's already made something similar from GitHub, and then I can put that on my Claude and kind of just start ideating around it, which that is exactly what I did. So I downloaded this as a zip file. Then I went into Claude Code. This is in VS Code. You could do the same thing if you went to claude.ai.com. I just think this is a better interface, but I want you to kind of read this prompt of how like I even first started. So first thing I did was tell Claude this is a brainstorming session. As you can see this kind of slash right here, this is me invoking the brainstorming skill. And if you don't know skills with AI, think of it as like if AI is an intern following a manual. I'm sure like if you've heard the words Claude MD or something like that, which are the files that keep an AI kind of on track of how it's supposed to work. Each individual skill file, if you employ them, is like very hyper specific instructions to do one thing. So like for brainstorming, it's basically just telling my Claude, think critically and open-ended, provide suggestions, blah, blah. But then I pointed it to the zip file. I made sure that it knows my intent of this session is purely fact finding because I didn't want Claude to start building something just in this one session because I want to really plan with it back and forth just to make sure that before anything is built that Claude has no blank space on what I want, because if it does, it's going to have to make those inferences itself, which then in my opinion will lead it to make it something that's more likely not what I want. I told it we're going to make a standalone site. I want it to be private to me so like I can put in like a password and no one else can go in. I don't really have any other requirements, but I told it that you need to force me to answer anything that currently requires you to make a reference. So that's, again, me trying to tell Claude, like, I do not want you inferring on anything. Really, like, guardrail this with me so we can get a really buttoned-up plan going forward. So my Claude looked through the zip file. We went back and forth, gave me a good description of what it is. I'm not going to, like, go completely through this, but we went back and forth, proposed a plan, host it on Supabase and Vercel. These are just different websites that you can host code on the front end and back end. We still went back and forth. Like I'm very much in the opinion of like trying to make this as buttoned up as you can. Then I asked my Claude to provide a handoff prompt to go right into a new session to start building this. So after all of this on this one session, I had my Claude understand kind of what I wanted to do, really to the most minute detail, like no blank space. And now let's turn this into a phased build out where I've generated handoff prompts before I even go into any new session, knowing that like, okay, this is going to be a 6-phase plan. I'm going to do this over 6 sessions. I want to do it over 6 sessions because each of those individual sessions are going to be all the more better because they're only focused on that task as opposed to something big. So now let's show you what I built. Okay, so just to show you how much I use Claude, I literally asked it to give me an overview on what we built because a lot of the concepts I didn't even understand because, again, not a finance guy. So this is basically the idea of what we created before I show you anything. So basically, it is a multi-agent debate based off of certain high level, I think like brokerage funds or something like that, where from that, it then allocates, okay, how much of like of a percentage should we put into this? I have certain guardrails in terms of like I don't want it contributing more than X amount or X percent, et cetera, et cetera. Feel free to read through this. I don't care as much about the system. More just showing you that like you can do anything with AI. Okay, next thing I want to show. So this is called Alpaca. I didn't know what this was until I started planning it with Claude, and Claude suggested this, but this is a trading platform that just has very open APIs. What is an API? An API is basically just any way that you could think of pairing an LLM model, so like a Claude, a ChatGPT, a Gemini, to an external website to do something. And when I say something, like something complex, something that's not coming out of the box in terms of like if you just asked Claude right now, do this, like make a trade based off of, you know, these last couple months of evidence from this stock. Can't do that natively. It can do that if you provide it with the right API documentation. This is a platform that is basically built upon the idea of giving people as many APIs as possible. So with Alpaca, you can create your own kind of AI geared automated systems. So I'm going to show you this profile. I wish this was real, $100,000, but no, this is paper trading. I have a real account that I'm set up on the side with this, but I don't need to show that now. But I just kind of want to show you through this. Like this is like a very typical trading platform, but with APIs, again, you can really get in the weeds about it. And you don't even need to necessarily know which ones to do, as opposed to just knowing how to tell Claude what you want and then verifying that it knows what to do. Okay, so just very quickly before I show the site again, this is how the system works. Runs every Monday at 9 a.m., watches the last 2 years of data for Yahoo Finance, has 4 different AIs debate what it should do, safety checks, place trades, monitor and exit, and then notifies me via Telegram message. If I go now into the dashboard that I made, so I got this literally set up today. Basically, I have it tailored to be watching these 3 tickers. I can change the tickers, you know, as I please with whatever, but you can kind of see what it's telling me to do. Okay, hold, confidence 62%. Here's the rationale. I'm of the opinion, or I'm under the impression that this is going to populate more and more just over the next couple weeks, like as I actually get this running. But if you click through, again, showing signals, I don't have any positions or performance yet because it is a Sunday and I haven't placed any trades yet. But over the next couple months, I'm really trying to like make sure this works and tinker with it as needed. All right, so after I was done with that, I sent an overview of what I built to a couple of my friends who work in finance. They had some opinions. AI is not right every time, especially when you're trying to make a finance app as someone who doesn't really know, the more high-level aspects and nuances of finance. So basically, after I talked to them about what it is, they gave these 3 additions as like things that I need my model or my AI system to consider. So took all of that and then went back into Claude to plan out a new session. So I went back into Claude. I invoked brainstorming again because this is just me trying to plan something, and I told it very straight up. Okay, I finished the tracker. I sent it to my friends. They said that there are some edits that it could have. What are they? Let's, lay out how to change this, whatever. Then, because I have my Claude connected to my iMessage through iMessage CLI, which API, CLI, MCP, like no matter what the term is, just think about it as just like another way that you could pair Claude to something, and you do not need to know specifically how it works other than it's possible, and you just need to ask Claude how to do it, and it will then set it up itself for you. So I have my Claude literally look through my text messages and then see, okay, this is what you were talking about with your friends. Let's plan it out. If I go all the way to the end here, so my Claude through this session took what they said. These are the additives we should now plan to it. Then I had a code reviewer, which is, again, think about how brainstorming is a skill that you invoke that. You can invoke a separate agent in a session. So basically, a code reviewer is a markdown file that was basically written of like, okay, you are an expert at reviewing code. You are used to use blah, 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 blah. So I say to my Claude in this chat, let's spawn the code reviewer agent to review our plan and validate that it actually works, and it does it. This then threw it all into a diagram for V2, so I have not actually made this yet, but this is, I think, where it gets a little fun. I have open sourced this entire thing. It is a GitHub repo that I'm posting alongside this video. So the same way that today, when I was showing you, how to download the zip file for trading agents, all you have to do is just go and download the zip file for mine. Calling out finance people specifically, would love to see your thoughts on this, understand any ads that you'd want to make to the app, and then, yeah, if you can make something that's better, go for it, man. But yeah, it was very fun to make. Hope this was instructional and helpful, and have a good one.